It says I'm live on my end, but let me check my other computer to make sure that the sound is okay. It should be popping up in just a minute. So let me see what I got on this end over here. And it's popping up now. All right, look like we are live. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? How you doing? I hope everything is fine. Hope everybody had a happy 4th. I know I did. I'm still here breathing. Ladies and gentlemen, like I told y'all, I wanted to do a show. We're talking to the Department of Children's Safety Services, how you want to call it. And I do have a member on the line with me now. He's going to be spending a little time with me, talking to him about this that I want to bring to the light. And we got Mr. Rob on the phone. Mr. Rob, how you doing, sir?
I'm fine. This is Rob Johnson. I'm the communications director at the Department of Children's Services. I'm over in Nashville right now. We're in the middle of a really bad thunderstorm, so if you hear some rumbling, that's what's up.
Oh, man. Now, I heard some thunder and lightning last night, but I don't think we really got anything. It was just thunder and lightning. Now, I don't know if we had got I think we had got like slight rain or something, but I don't think it was just nothing excruciating that we had. So, man, brother, please be careful because, it get crazy in Tennessee with this weather. It get real crazy, man.
So how can we help you today, Chris?
All right, so here's the thing, like I said, my thing here was just to bring awareness of what do y'all do because, you got people that say, y'all always send people business. And you got people say y'all don't handle y'all business, and just kind of stuff that just go all kinds of way up, down, left, or right. So I'm not a father myself, but however, I still like to bring to the light what's an everyday job of somebody in your position as well as other people that's working in this field. So, the particulars would be, I guess I wanted to know is to share with the people, y'all protocols or y'all chain of command when y'all see or hear or get a call about children that is being neglected, and I know it's different. I guess it's different departments that y'all do, so maybe you could kind of help us out and tell us, what is y'all job when y'all get calls about abuse, neglect, and all that's in between, what is y'all chain of command, if you don't mind explaining it to me? Sure.
It's a big department, and it's got a lot of responsibilities. And, anytime you're dealing with kids, it gets really emotional really quickly. Mm-hmm. There's the whole emotion of, how do we keep kids safe?
Absolutely.
How do we keep them well taken care of? You have the other range of emotions of how can, everything that comes up when children in the sad cases when they have to be removed from their family, that elicits all kinds of passions and emotions, and it can be a really difficult place for our folks to work. There are more than 4,000 people around the state. Mm-hmm. And at DCS, we do a lot of different things. There is the Child Protective Services portion of the work. Mm-hmm. These are the investigators who go out and when there's a report that a child's being abused or neglected, they're the ones that go out and do that kind of work.
Okay, let me
you
stop.
You have an awful lot of other people. A lot of people, they just need help. Absolutely. A lot of people are just struggling. A lot of people need somebody to come in and help them. There's some folks, they're not trying to be bad parents. They're not trying. They love their kids, but they need help. And there's a whole other range of the department that comes in and helps get services to those folks. Then for the kids who must come when the judges place the children into state custody, there is the whole part of our department that is foster care. And in Tennessee, we work really hard when kids come into care to place them with families, not in orphanages, not in institutions, but whenever possible to place them with families. And then the last big part that I'll go into that we do at DCS, these are the kids who are adjudicated delinquent. These are the kids who have broken the law. and the courts place them in our care, and they come into our juvenile justice system. So you have a whole other network of services that and staff that deal with those. Those are kind of the big areas here.
And that's what I really wanted to bring right there, about the child protective service portion of it. Because again, like I said, you got a lot of people that say, hey, y'all be in a business, or y'all don't handle y'all business, and I know it's kind of stressful because everybody has a job, no matter what they do, no matter what kind of job that you have a job to do, and it's not going to be peaches and cream every day, and I understand that, especially brother in your position. So I want to touch on that a little bit about child protective services when y'all get called out to the house. And I guess one of my first questions would be, if y'all get a call, I'll use me for example. If I had a son or a daughter, and one of the people gets a call and say, hey, Chris is out here doing something to this child, this is neglect, this is abuse. As soon as y'all get that call, what is y'all first chain of command that y'all do? Do y'all instantly rush out to the address, or do you have a chain of command that you have to follow? Or how does that work?
It depends. What happens is that we have an around-the-clock hotline.
Okay.
And if anybody believes, the law in the state is that if anybody believes a child is being abused or neglected, they're obligated to call either us, or they can call law enforcement, but we have a dedicated 24-hour-a-day, every day of the year call line, and you can call 877-237-0004. And when you call that number, you get a case manager.
Okay.
And they have they're highly trained, and they have a very detailed list of questions that they need to ask people. Now, an important thing to remember is that when folks call, they might not know everything about a child. They might not know this child's birth date. They might not know who all the parents are. They might not know everything about the child. But the more information somebody has that can give to it, the better we're able to handle things. Another thing is that sometimes we'll get a call about the same child or the same situation. We might get multiple calls from different people. Mm-hmm. So they will always take that information. Now, if we're already working on the case, if we're already aware of the situation, we might not follow up, as you can understand, on that one specific call because we're already working on it somewhere else.
Absolutely.
So what happens is that they take all the details down and they put it into TFAX, which is our big statewide automated child welfare system.
Gotcha.
So, when you call in to this central number, that person, they might not know anybody in Shelby County. They might not know anybody in Carter County. They're probably not going to know any of these folks. And so they take it down, they take all the information down, and it goes into our computer. And that way, everybody within the department that's got access to TFAX, which is most of us, can see what the allegations are. Right. So that call doesn't, that information doesn't get lost. Absolutely. It goes into TFAX, and it stays there. And then to answer your question, there are some cases that aren't an emergency, and there are some cases that are. There are some cases, a priority one call, we have to drop everything and go right away. There could be a situation where a teacher calls and they're worried about a child in school. They're worried about something that might be going on in the house, and maybe we need to get out there later that day. Maybe something has happened in the past and the child is safe right now, and it's not an absolute emergency to get to the kid. So, we have different priority levels based on the information that we get from the callers. So not everything is drop everything and go right away.
Right.
There's a lot of, quite frankly, there's a lot of common sense involved in it. The important thing is capturing as much of the information as you can. And it may be that the first caller calls in and has a bunch of information, and that's enough for us to follow up on. It may be that what the caller calls about doesn't meet the criteria that we have to meet before we go out on a call. Maybe what somebody describes isn't under the law. It's not child abuse or neglect. Maybe somebody's just worried.
Yeah.
And when in doubt, we ask people to call because maybe it might dovetail with some other situation that's involving this child that we've heard about elsewhere. But we get many calls from schools. Teachers are worried, or teachers hear things, or teachers notice things, or guidance counselors might notice things, and then they'll call, and then our workers will go out, and we'll want to talk to the child, assuming the child's old enough.
Yeah.
And they're going to want to talk to that child alone to hear the child's version of what's going on.
Absolutely.
Assuming the child can talk. There are some kids, Chris, who are just too young or they're too traumatized. And one of the things that we have all around the state, and certainly over near Memphis, is a child advocacy center. And these are special counselors, special doctors that know how to work with children, and they're trained forensic interviewers, and they know how to talk to children in an age-appropriate way, in a way that is designed to get the information that we need, but to do so in a way that is not traumatic to a child. Can you imagine if there was an investigation, and it probably, happens in other jurisdictions, or it's happened in the past, where the child has to explain everything to a social worker, and then they've got to explain it to their doctor, and then they have to explain the same thing to a police officer, and then maybe they have to explain the same thing again to a prosecutor if charges are going to be pressed. In Tennessee, we do everything we can to minimize the number of times a child's going to be interviewed. And so the forensic interviews that we do take place in a special setting at a child advocacy center. And our people are often there, or are reviewing, or law enforcement might be there if it looks like it's going to be something that's, really serious abuse or neglect. And so those interviews can take place. And then our investigators are going to want to talk to, at some point, they're going to want to talk to the person who we believe might be doing the abuse. They're going to want to talk to as many witnesses as they can. What our people have to do is find enough information to see whether there is evidence. We have to find evidence of whether there was abuse or neglect. And if that abuse or neglect is really serious and the evidence is overwhelming, it may be that law enforcement wants to take over that case and charge somebody. What our task is, at that point, we have to make sure that the child is safe. Sometimes there are things that you can do. Let's say there is a parent who is abusing the child. If you can find a way to make sure that that parent is not around that child, or that boyfriend or that girlfriend or whoever might be abusing that child, if there's a way to get that person away from the child to keep the child safe and have the child remain in his or her home, if that's possible and if that's safe, then that's something we're going to try to do, because you want to do things that are the least traumatic for the child. And if that child wants to sleep in her own bed with her own blanket in her own room, and there's a way that you can do that to keep the child safe, we're going to try that. If you can't leave the child in the home, then the other thing you're going to look for is some auntie, some grandmother, some grandfather, maybe a preacher, maybe somebody that the child already has a relationship with, and the parents, even if they're under investigation, can say, while this is being sorted out, it's okay with us for this child to stay with this other family. The department's always going to look at that route, and they're going to look at a way. Of course, we have to make sure that there's no criminal backgrounds there, have to make that would prevent us from placing the child there safely, have to make sure that the home is okay to take the child, and then the child can go there. And if that doesn't exist, if you can't find a relative or somebody who already knows the child, then the child might come into foster care. The other thing you have to remember is that it's the courts that placed the child into our custody. Sure, they're going to take into account the information that our investigators and our case managers find, but it's the courts who decide whether a kid comes into state care. And if a kid does come into state care, we're going to do everything we can to put that child in a family-like setting with a foster family.
Right. Somebody asked a question, and I guess they're going to send me some more questions to ask you, because I guess they have a problem with their dealings with the Department of Child Protective Services or whatnot. One of the questions they was asking, what if y'all getting calls, and you may have explained that earlier, of people who just making calls just to be spiteful, pretty much making false calls, and y'all find out that the person is making false calls. I mean, is there any protocols or actions to that, or y'all just let that be? How do y'all handle that?
Yeah. The law accounts for that, and it's as long as people are calling in good faith, you're protected. However, if the determination is made that people are doing it spitefully or maliciously, then the people can be charged with that. I don't know how often that happens, to be honest with you, but there's a provision in the law that anticipates that. And of course, some of that, if people were, we get a lot of calls that come in when, say, like there's a divorce or there's a really, contentious relationship between the father and the mother. And, it's not unusual to get a spike in phone calls on a Friday, because now's the time that, one of the parents is due his or her visit, and the other parent doesn't want that to happen. They call the department. They make allegations that something bad is happening while the kid's making a weekend visit. That's very common and has been for years. And, of course, when those calls come in, we have to investigate them. But if you find out that you do the investigation and there's no evidence of any abuse, no evidence of any neglect, the child doesn't disclose anything, then that's certainly going to factor, and then all of that is recorded in our system, that's certainly going to factor into things when we get those calls the next time.
Hold on, Rob. Hold on. Let me address something real quick. To you who have questions, I specifically put in my chat room, I cannot keep up with the chat. If you want me to ask him a question, DM me. I've said this twice, and somebody else just said it in my chat room. It's getting annoying now. Corrine just DM me her questions. Whoever else had a question, y'all can do the same thing. All right, please. That's getting annoying. DM me. I'm looking at my other computer right now when your DM comes in. All right? DM me your questions. Don't ask me questions in my chat room. Please. Sorry,
so what do people want to know?
Hold on. Somebody wanted me to ask you about the process in the court. Do parents have due process? Are they innocent until proven guilty? And does CPS have to prove their allegations? Do they have to prove their allegations? Do y'all have to prove your allegations?
Well, what they have to do is before they take action, they have to find evidence. There has to be evidence there, and then it goes into court if it looks like a child might come into custody. So yeah, it's got to be. There has to be. It can be based on what the child says. If you have a situation where a child may be harmed physically, they would go to a child advocacy center, and doctors and nurses and psychologists might be talking to the child, and they might be they know how to interview children. Mm-hmm. So yeah, these would all be things that a judge would have to take into account before a child might come into care. But yes, it's a process of finding evidence. It is a process of making sure that children can be kept safe, and those are all the things that the courts take into account.
All right. Well, that's one question so far. So whoever answered that question, I hope they answered your question as far as that goes. Now, somebody mentioned something about the missing children in Kentucky. Let me see if I can find it. Well, hold on. I just found the question right here in the chat room. I'm guessing this is a question to you. I don't know how much this has to do with you, but if you got some info you want to put on it, then by all means do so. They said, what about a stalker who just wants to hurt a family?
Wait, I'm not sure I follow.
That's the question. They say, I guess when it comes to children, what about a stalker who just wants to hurt their family? I guess that goes into collision with the same question I asked you earlier, about false calls. I guess a stalker just want to put salt in a family, so they make these false calls because they are a stalker, So I think you may have pretty much already answered it when I asked you about the false calls.
Yeah, and one of the things I'll point out is that, we've got a lot of experienced folks, and they're pretty streetwise. They've been in a lot of situations. Sure, some of our folks might be younger. Some of our folks are very experienced. A lot of our team leaders and our team coordinators, they're highly trained and they're highly experienced, and they have a really good sense of what's going on. There's not much that they haven't seen in this area. They have a good sense about how people react. And our staff are folks who, they're not just, they do this work, they're trained to do this work, they went to college to do this work, they have bachelors, a lot of them have master's degrees, and they're really experienced in this sort of thing, and they have a good sense about what's going on. And if there's a situation, and they often have very good relationships with law enforcement, and if there was a situation where, our people were concerned about not just child safety, but a family safety, or even the worker's safety. Our people work in some pretty dangerous circumstances. They're often going to reach out to law enforcement to assist with the case. We have all different kinds of communities we serve. We serve the big urban areas. We serve in the suburbs. We serve in farmland, in the hollows of East Tennessee. And our people work really well in the community, and they have a lot of relationships with other folks who can help our staff. And we have a lot of relationships with people outside of the department who can help the families we serve too. So if we've got a situation where somebody is behaving in a threatening way, or somebody is way out of line, we certainly have folks that we can reach out to help us, and we also have experienced folks on our own that know how to deal with that.
Okay. Let me see if I can find any more questions up here, because let's see. They wanted me to ask you the statistics of how many children are falsely taken away. Would you have an answer for that? What's the statistics on that?
Yeah. In Tennessee, right about now, the number changes daily, if not hourly. But right now we have about 8,800 kids in custody across the state. About 1,000 of those are in the juvenile justice system. So the balance, about 7,800 kids are in foster care around Tennessee. One of the things that a lot of folks don't realize about DCS, unless you keep up with it really closely in the news, is that in 2000, the state was sued in federal court for the way its foster care system operated. And that created, and the state entered into what you call a consent decree, where they went into court and they say, you're right, Your Honor, we agree with the plaintiffs, we need to improve. And so Tennessee agreed to this massive system overhaul back in 2000. And it took 16 or 17 years to make it all work. And the state had to meet almost 140 benchmarks about the way our work is performed.
Right.
And it's all different kinds of criteria. You want to keep children close to their home county, so you measure how many kids stay within 75 miles of their home county. You measure how many big sibling groups stay together. You look at measurements for how well we recruit foster parents. You look at just a variety of things. And Tennessee is one of the few states in the country that's been able to emerge from one of these lawsuits. Many, many states are under them. But Tennessee has been able to reform its system in a way so that we're doing a much better job than we were, 20 years ago in terms of serving kids, in terms of keeping kids out of custody whenever possible, in terms of making sure that those children who do come into care get the services they need, and making sure that the department is transparent about what it does. Tennessee has been through a major overhaul in its system, and the kids are the ones, and the families we serve are the ones who benefit. We do a lot of work. If you think about, a lot of people think about kids coming into care, and they think about babies or cute little kids, but we also have a lot of teenagers that come into custody.
Mm-hmm.
We have a lot of sibling groups that come into care. Can you imagine, Chris, I don't know if you got any brothers or sisters, but
I do.
For a lot of people, their best ally, particularly when you're a kid, if there's things going on in your family, your best ally, the one you depend on the most, the one you're closest to, is your brother or your sister.
Absolutely.
In Tennessee,
Absolutely.
we do everything we can if kids have to come into care to keep those sibling groups together.
Ms. Rob,
now that requires.
I want to pause right there. I want to pause right
there.
I want to pause right there. What you said, or hold that thought, because I want you to keep saying that in Tennessee. I want people in my chat room to understand you are saying in Tennessee. You had no control of other states, right? You only control Tennessee, right?
Right.
Thank you. And I'll go ahead.
All I'm talking about is the Tennessee Department of
Thank you. That's
Services.
what I want my audience to understand. Now, I had a question earlier time I asked them about the missing children in Kentucky and Oklahoma. Now, if you got anything to do with that or anything to say about that, feel free to speak on it. But if you had no hands on that situation, then I can't expect for you to speak on it.
Right. Yeah, I'm just pretty much, we deal with Tennessee. The Tennessee Department of Children's Services is a statewide organization. Mm-hmm. In some other states, I don't know all of them. I know Ohio, for instance, and I know that New York, that's just off the top of my head. Those are county-based systems, and they have their own CPS units, and they have their own foster care units just by county. In Tennessee, it's statewide. So we split the state into 12 regions. Each of the big, cities, there's Shelby, there's Davidson, there's Knox, and those are regions unto themselves. And then the rest of them are collections of counties. So it's just Tennessee that I'm familiar with. I know a lot of folks in the child welfare world around the country, but pretty much the only thing I'm familiar with is what's happening in Tennessee.
And thank you. And I want people to understand that because apparently there was two people in my chat room, and I'm going to address them once I get you out the phone because to me, y'all totally disrespectful. But I'm not going to do that while you're on the phone. I will address y'all when I get through with this show. That's what I want. That's what I wanted to ask you for the audience. What can you speak on and what can you not speak on? And I want you to keep on saying that you only speak on Tennessee because you work with Tennessee. You don't have your hands in other states, but if you do have your hands in other states, then yes, I want you to speak on it. But now I have another question somebody sent me, and I think this is a good one. They asked once they get into the house for a call, what all do y'all check for? I mean, do y'all check for food in the cabinets, in the fridge, clean house, bedrooms for each kids? If the kids are dirty, clothes for kids, etc. And do y'all give the parents a chance to fix these things and give the parents counseling, or do y'all just take them right then? I mean, pretty much they're saying if y'all see these things in the home, do y'all give them a chance to rectify their mistake that you see, or do y'all instantly say, no, this is too unfit, we finna take them right away? How do y'all handle them when y'all come into the home?
Well, every situation is different, but if you're trying to gauge whether children are safe and whether they're being abused or neglected, you have to take into account the environment that they're in. And like I was saying earlier, in Tennessee, because you bring up a good point, in Tennessee, we have kind of like two different levels. The fancy term for it is multi-level response system. In some states, they call it differential response. And that's a fancy way of saying that we recognize that, you know, if somebody's really doing something awful to a child, abusing or neglecting a child, that is serious, potentially criminal abuse. And like earlier in this interview when we were talking, I said, there's some parents, though, that just need help. There's some parents that want to be a good parent, or they're trying to be a good parent, or they're struggling with things. And the department is set up in Tennessee to do what we can to get exactly what you're talking about, Chris, getting resources to those homes. If they need counseling, if the kids need medical care, if there are things that are going on in their lives that we can help address, to help get these families to a place where the children, most of our children who do come into custody, they do return. An overwhelming majority of them return to their own parents. Okay. And the only way you make that happen is if parents change the things that are going on in their lives to make it safer for the kid. We do, in Tennessee, we do a model that's called child and family teaming. Mm-hmm. So let's say a kid comes into custody. There will be a child and family team meeting, and they will be regular. And they will be, and I've been to many of them, and they have them at a local office. And you have a trained person who is nothing but a facilitator, and you'll have the birth parents in there. You'll have the foster parents in there. The child often has an attorney that is appointed by the court to look after the child's interest, called a GAL, a guardian ad litem. That person will be in there. Anybody that the family, the birth family, wants to have in that meeting, they can have in that meeting. And that is where they have a regular thing and talk about what's going on with the child. And I've been in a situation where or been in many situations where they're talking to the birth mother and they're saying, you're going to need to learn how to get to work. You're going to need to learn how to be able to safely transport your children. I've been in situations where they say, as long as you're dating this guy who is a prosecuted sex offender, we're not going to allow you, to have those children go back in your home. So you need to get those things straight in your life to bring stability to your family and to bring safety for your kids. And we'll do whatever we can to help you, but we're going to do this as a team. And those meetings take place every day all over the state. It gives parents a chance to say, here's what I'm frustrated about. Mm-hmm. Here's what I want to happen. Here's what makes me sad about this. Here's where I'm having a hard time. And then the foster parents, ideally in the state, and many of our foster parents aren't just there to take care of the child. They're there to be a support for the child's family and to almost be a mentor for the birth parents. They're on their side, correctly done. They are on the side of these folks, and they will do what they need to do so these people can get things straight in their lives to get their children back. And if they can't, many of our foster parents are already signed up to be, we're a dual license state. They're also qualified to be adoptive parents. Mm-hmm. And if there's a bond between those foster parents and those children, because things are so bad or dysfunctional in their homes, if those children can't go back, oftentimes the foster parents are there for them to be a support going forward in their life. The thing that you have to remember, Chris, is that kids need permanency. It is not good for children to be in foster care indefinitely. Kids, the courts will require it, and our case planning requires it. They need to have a permanency plan so that kids need to know where they're going to be next year, where they're going to be in school, where they're going to be living, what the things are, and we have to work to make sure that the children understand that.
And you know, and that's one of the things I wanted to bring to the light, because like I told you, Mr. Rob, and again, thank you for taking your time and doing this, speaking what you're speaking on. But apparently, I guess we got a couple of people, I guess, that's not agreeing with some things that you saying or whatnot.
I'm sure that's true.
See,
this work is really controversial.
Absolutely.
People say a lot of unkind things. Some people mean well. Some people have had bad experiences with the system.
Mm-hmm.
We deal with a lot of people who just don't understand what we do. I'm used to that, and I'm always going to reach out when I can. If, of course, as we were talking about, you know, before we even set up this interview, Chris, I can't talk about any specific case.
I know, absolutely, right.
But if anybody is out there that has issues with a specific case, you can call the department. We even have a customer service unit that can research a case. If people were dissatisfied or have questions about the way they were treated, there's a whole unit here that can look into that. And I know it's controversial. A lot of the stuff that we deal with is incredibly angering. Mm-hmm. It's incredibly sad. Mm-hmm. People feel like their families are torn apart. People feel like you have the state up in your business in a way that is very uncomfortable.
Right.
It's incredibly emotional, and can be. And I deal all the time with folks who are frustrated with the department, frustrated with the conditions in their lives. Sometimes I deal with people. You know, it's obvious why their children aren't with them. And it's not to say that anybody who's upset with the department, that means they're doing something wrong. But we do deal with a lot of people that have a hard time relating properly to kids. It just comes with the territory.
Right. And that's why I said at the beginning, you know, somebody in your field, y'all are going to be under scrutiny. Y'all are going to be under discrimination. And if y'all don't do what a lot of people want y'all to do, then y'all everything but y'all name in the book. You understand? Mm-hmm. Now, I guess I was thinking that the crowd that I have, you know, we would be like, you know, cool, you know, this is cool that you're doing this or whatnot, you know, and I don't expect for everybody to agree with what I say or any guest that I have on the show, you know. But when you get to the point that you get so frustrated because you're not saying what they want you to say or what they need you to say, or I guess wherever their ears want to hear, and you get so frustrated with it that you don't want to hear no more. I mean, that's not my fault. I mean, look, I reached out to you to put out some light on what y'all do. I think you've done that. I'm not in your position, so I don't know what you do or what do y'all go through. I can only imagine. Same thing with a cop, firefighter, pretty much any job that you do, because I work with people with special needs. All right? Mm-hmm. Now, listen to what you're saying. Just imagine some of the stuff that I go through dealing with some of them, especially if they got behaviors and they fighting and everything. Every job is not peaches and cream. You got your stressful points and things are going to happen in that job that you just not going to like. But don't sit up there and shoot the messenger for talking about it or doing a part of the job. This is your part of the job. We all got chain of commands, and we all can go so far or what we can do or what we cannot do. And I wish people will understand that. You're not going to like everything. You're not. But some things, I'm sure, Mr. Rob, you in your position, you just cannot do. I'm pretty much sure you would love to do. Like they were asking about the missing kids. I'm pretty much sure you would love to have a helping hand up in that to find some of these kids and get them where they need to be. I'm sure you would. But I'm pretty much sure your hand is on the tide to do so much.
Well, the things that we can do are defined by law, and we have a lot of people looking over our shoulders. We have foster care review boards that look over our cases. These are citizens that volunteer and work through the courts. We have the courts themselves. Mm-hmm. We have the federal courts. We have the federal government. We have, we have a lot of people looking over our shoulder. A lot of the work we do, because we deal with kids, we can't talk about publicly because of the confidentiality laws.
Right.
By the same token, our standards, our policies, the laws are all public. The protocols that we go through are public. And I'm well aware that a lot of people get upset with the Department of Children's Services. By the same token, our people work really hard. Some of the finest people I've ever met in my life work here, and they go above and beyond all the time to look after these kids. That's why they do the work that they do, and Tennessee is really lucky to have a lot of these people who work for them. Kids, they help the teenagers. We work with kids who age out of foster care and don't have a place to go. We help kids get into school. We help kids stay in school. We help kids find apartments. We help them find jobs so that they can afford to be in school. We make sure that kids get the medical treatment that they need. But, there was a woman who used to be a commissioner here, and, this may be a good way to kind of end this, and she would say the state is a horrible parent. Kids weren't meant to be raised by the state. They were meant to be raised by their families and people that care about them. And we do everything we can to try to get the kids out of the system as quickly as possible. We work with a lot of difficult situations by definition. It's not an ideal way for a child to grow up. So you do everything you can to get these kids to safe, loving homes. If it's their birth families, that's awesome. If it can't be their birth families, there are a lot of great adoptive parents that can get these kids on the right path.
Right. And I'm going to end it with this, Mr. Rob. And again, man, thank you so much for doing this for me, man. I really appreciate that. I had somebody just message me, at least somebody messaged me, say, hey, I like what you're doing, reaching out to people like this, man. Keep doing what you're doing. At least somebody gave me some praise for doing this because, Mr. Rob, you've been talking about this for almost a month, right, by getting this together, right?
Right. I'm always happy to help. And,
right.
And Chris, I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to talk.
Right. But I want to end up with saying this, I find it mighty funny that with people in your position, when y'all do make some good, y'all probably don't get that much praise. Y'all do make good progress. When y'all do get people kids back or get people on the right road or whatnot, y'all probably don't get that much praise. But if y'all can't do what people want y'all to do, again, they just spit fire at y'all. And they're just the way of the world. And my thing is this, like I said, everything's not going to fall in our lap. Everything is not going to go the way they want to go. But believe me, if it was, this world would be a happy place. Trust me, it'd be a happy place. We'll have a lot of this stuff that we got going on right now, So I wanted to say that before you leave, man, like I said, I can imagine how hard y'all job is, dealing with CPS and all this. I can imagine how all this stuff is. Hell, I can imagine how I would feel if I had a child and got to go through all this. I probably feel some type of way too, but I don't have any kids. So I guess I'm one of the, I don't want to say lucky, but I guess I had to be one of the lucky ones to not deal with the stress that come behind it, But again, I reached out to you. You've been talking about this for a while to do this, and I'm glad we actually got a chance to do it. I wanted to bring some light on this situation, and for the most part, it seemed like everybody enjoyed what we had to talk about. Other than that, Mr. Rob, thank you, man. Have a great weekend, and if I need you for anything else, brother, hey, I would not hesitate to call you.
All right, man. Thanks so much for the opportunity.
Thank you, Mr. Rob.
See you, sir.
All right.
Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was the Tennessee Department of Child Services, Mr. Rob Johnson. Like I said, I spent almost a month and some time trying to get somebody from this department to talk to, because I told y'all who follow me on Facebook that I want to talk to somebody from this department or whatnot, and I finally got somebody down from Tennessee to actually make time to come on the show and bring some light to this. So I am grateful for him doing what he did. That was pretty amazing. That was pretty amazing that he did that. All right, now that I got that out of the way, let me address my chat room. Let me tell y'all something. And y'all know I ain't talking to all, so don't come to me with that all shit. I've been trying to hold my peace while I was doing this show. I don't know how many times I got to stress to any one of y'all when we do these live streams. Y'all are not going to agree with everything that's happening on this fucking show. Y'all not. Y'all not going to agree with everything that is happening. You're not going to agree with everything that's being said. I don't know how many times I got to fucking stress that. But when you in my chat room and you getting all antsy and pissed off because this man or anybody else is saying shit that you don't like, and then you turn around and talk about you out because you just that pissed off, at that point, I'd rather you not come back to my fucking show. That's a spit in my fucking face. Seriously, that's a spit in my fucking face. I don't come in none of y'all's chat room telling y'all that I'm pissed off about what you said, so I'm finna leave. That's fucking disrespectful. If you're gonna leave, leave silently. Don't say shit to me. Leave silently. I had to constantly repeat myself over and over again. Any questions that you had to ask, even some of the people in the audience was telling y'all, any questions you want to ask, DM me. But you kept posting the shit in my fucking chat. And then when you finally DM me, you get in your fucking feelings. How the fuck you think that makes me feel? You disrespecting me like that. And then on top of that, I still asked them some of your questions that I found in the chat room. And I still don't get no fucking thanks. One of you said you was out because you feel like he was lying, but your ass was right back in my fucking chat room. Why the fuck did you not stay gone? Did a full research on what? Do a full research on what, Carol? A full research on what? If they had it did like I asked them to, we could have got all this straight. So do a research on what? What up, Black Voice? Do a research on what? I'll wait for your answer. Do a research on what? Because again, the man was telling y'all he can only speak for Tennessee. He can only speak for Tennessee. Kansas, Oklahoma. He has no control over that. But y'all heard me. I still asked him. He even told y'all he had no control over that. He only talking about Tennessee. So again, Carol, what am I supposed to research and supposed to understand how they felt? When they was asking questions in the chat room that I told them to DM me the questions, and I could have asked them that. But you get mad and DM me and tell me he's lying. Lying about what? What is he lying about? He is not the only CPS worker. He's the director of communication. Like he said, he got a lot of people. You got different departments that deal with this shit. Thank you, Fire God. You can't research. Everything is different. So what am I supposed to research? They do, hey, Brother Smooth, they doing it now. They doing it now. They just, somebody came and told me they got a call uh, it would benefit him to lie. He could have got sued and fired if he does lie in public setting like this. Thank you. Thank you. So again, I mean, what is he supposed to do? What was he supposed to say? What is he lying about? Now she telling me I just got a call. I don't give a damn about you getting a call for what? Then you telling me this guy what? What has he done? What is he doing wrong? I ask you, what is he doing wrong? What has he done wrong? What has he said wrong that you could not ask me the question when I asked you? Ask me the question and I will ask him what you feel like he's saying is wrong. And y'all heard him say it. What up, Nick Williams? And y'all heard him say, yes, this is a touchy subject. I mean, we're going to get all kinds of answers and stuff. We are. You know, I mean, this is coming with the territory. I can imagine what the folks going through, man, trying to do all this. But like I said at the end, all these kids who coming up missing that y'all brought into my chat room, if he would have found all them children, got them in good homes, well, now one, you give him any kind of thanks. You still trying to find some way, you know what I'm saying, to throw stones at them. Throw stones at them. I don't know, Elaine. I don't know. I don't know. Child Protective Service, how many children are taken? How many are missing? How many are missing? It happens in Tennessee. Look it up. Did you not hear this man just talk about that? Did you not, Carol, did you not just hear him talk about that? He just talked about that before he left. And then I had to ask you this too. You got kids missing everywhere. He just one man. What is he supposed to do? He just one man. What is he supposed to do? Oh, Jesus. Okay, Carol, what did he say? What did he say? Court, you said court process is not how he said it. So what did he say then? How he was supposed to say it? What did he say? What did he say? The process of taking children is not how he said. Corrine talked to many parents in Tennessee. Let me ask something, Carol, and it may be true. It may be true. Chaos, thank you. That's where I'm finna go. It's not a child support service problem at that point. If you got kids missing, that's a police problem at that point. That's them at that point. What can the Child Protective Services do at that point? What can he do to go find other children? What can he do? What up, Deshaun? Thank you, Dog Paul. He did. He did say that. I could have sworn he said that. I could have sworn he said that. Now somebody said, stay on top of my show. Don't turn. Now I'm not going to turn into you. I'm really not. I'm not going to turn into you. And see, when you say that, you try to make it seem like I'm trying to look at you as a bad person. I don't look at you as a bad person. I respect what you do. But at the same time, you know, don't y'all sit up here and get upset at me and talk about y'all leaving my shit or y'all getting so mad at what he's saying. You know what I'm saying? You just getting frustrated and shit and you just leave talking about, I'm out, I'm leaving. Then you come right back in my fucking chat room. Carol Quick said, I told you, why are you not seeing what I am seeing? It is not. I'm seeing everything you just said. Okay, start over again, Carol. What are you saying that you're trying to get me to say? Because I see everything you're saying. You got other people telling you. You got other people in the chat telling you what the man said. If Corinne talked to people in Tennessee and a child has came up missing, what the hell is Mr. Rob, the communications for the Tennessee Department of Children's Services, is supposed to do about a missing child? Child protection is evil. Oh, wow. Okay. But you know what? Did he not say that? Audience, did he not say that too? That people think of him like that? Did he not say that? Did he not say that? Carl, let me ask you one last question. I'm going to get up out of here. What makes them evil? Because again, y'all need to understand, I don't have any kids, so I don't know how this shit works. I can only go on his words. I don't have any kids, so what makes Child Protective Services so evil? It's because they take y'all kids away when y'all ain't doing what y'all supposed to do? If you ain't doing what you're supposed to do and you lose your child, then whose fault is that? It's not his fault, it's your fault. All right? That's your fault. But now if you do got people that just taking your child away because people fucking and dipping in your family over some bullshit, then that's different. That's different. You do what the hell you need to do to get your child back, and you bring all evidence to court, like he said. Bring your evidence to prove that whoever fucking with your family is telling a fucking lie. I just said that. He said they did have to have evidence. I just said that. Thank you, Neek. Thank you. Thank you, Neek. That mean a lot. Thank you. So, what makes them evil? If you out here fucking up, ain't doing your job, taking care of your and doing your job, taking care of your children, and you get reported, and you get your child taken away, I mean, is that not what they supposed to do? And see, and that's why I said it at the end. That's why I said it at the end. If you, Kerr, had your children, if you got children, you had your children taken away from you, and this man fought to get your child back, and you got your child back, from how you talking in my chat room, you wouldn't even thank this man for what he did. You wouldn't. But now, if stuff ain't going y'all way, y'all getting all pissy and shit. But it's not just with the CPS. Y'all do that with a lot of people. You get pissy when shit don't go your way. I guess it's just human nature. So, just like somebody asked in the chat room earlier, are y'all speaking from personal experience or y'all speaking from personal feelings? Who called you names? Nobody called you a name. Who called you a name? What up, Brother Sykes? Who called you a name? I didn't see nobody call you a name. Who called you a name? Now, y'all know I don't play that call the name shit, so who called you a name? I know I didn't. Hold on, somebody sent me a private message and told me what somebody said. Hold on, let me find it. Dom. Chill out with that. I see what they talking about now. Chill out with that. Chill out with that. Thank you, Chaos. And nobody got blocked. But nah, chill out with that. Let her have her say so. If I ain't calling her names, don't you call her one. Don't call no jackass, no nothing. If I ain't calling her names, don't you call her one. I found it too, Brother Smooth. I found it. Appreciate it. I found it. Somebody just messaged me. I found it. They said, okay, I just saw another minute. I was just asking a question. I didn't respect your chat. Yes, you did, because I kept asking you to DM me your question. You kept putting it in my chat. And then when things were going your way, you got mad and started DMing. Then you started DMing me. It's the same thing I'm saying now. When things weren't going your way, now you want to DM me. But when I asked you, DM me your questions, not once, but twice, you didn't do it. But when you finally DM me, this is what I'm getting. Well, Dom, you said yes, you did. I'm telling you not to. Don't do that, because it's already touchy as it is right now. Y'all know what? I'm going to leave by saying this right here. Anytime you get that frustrated, we're not on it with my show or somebody else's show, that stuff is being said that you don't like, don't tell them that you're leaving. Just leave and don't say shit. All right? Just leave and don't say shit, because that's disrespectful when you do that. All right? And not only my show, it could be Clover's show or anybody's show. If something going on in that show that you don't like, don't tell them I'm out because you pissed off. Because at that point, I'm going to dare to tell you fuck you, because that's disrespectful. Now, I told y'all, I'm laid back and I'm cool as hell. But when you doing shit like that, disrespecting my chat room like that, then I got a problem. Because not only you disrespecting me, you disrespecting my people up in there too. I don't know how many times we got to stress, or y'all got to stress, hey, man, this shit ain't going to be for everybody. Every topic's not going to be for everybody. But y'all still come on up in here, you get upset, and you let your fucking feelings show. Thank you, Elaine. You let your fucking feelings show. Now, one thing I'll take responsibility for that I may have messed up on, maybe I should have opened up the phone lines, maybe I should have asked them a question. But then again, the way y'all talking about chat room, ain't no telling how it would have went. Because y'all swear up and down he's lying. He's lying when he can only talk about Tennessee. He can't talk about no other state. He only talking about Tennessee. But y'all so mad that y'all feel like he lying, y'all probably wouldn't have cussed that brother out for no reason, man. Y'all would have cussed that man out for no reason. And he's telling y'all time out of time again, what we do in Tennessee, what we do in Tennessee, what we do in Tennessee. If anything going on in Kentucky and Oklahoma, you need to call the DPS up there and ask them what the fuck they doing. What they doing to get them kids back. She said, ain't a pain pill on that. Everyone on Chris Thorns show does a great job and works hard to bring guests on. Brother Smooth, you out of all people know that, bro. I work my ass off to get where I'm going. I told y'all I'm trying to go a different direction with my show. And me and this man worked on almost like I said, a whole fucking month trying to get this show together. And it's actually supposed to be more people on the show, but I guess he couldn't get to more people. But hey, I think he did a swell job. I think he did a swell job answering what needed to be answered and this, that, and the third. All right? I think he did a swell job. I think he did. Chaos, thank you. Thank you. Oh, we got Mr. Child, Kentucky, Oklahoma. Let's call it social service. What? I don't know. Make that make sense. Predator King said, know that the powers of the grave have no limits, trolls. I can't be shit serious with. Nah, you know what? I don't really just get people to troll me like that. You know, I really don't. I really don't. Anyway, man, for those of y'all who haven't hit that thumbs up, go ahead and hit that thumbs up, man. I'm going to end this right here, man. Thank y'all so much for coming to the show. Got some more guests I'm trying to get on the show, so hopefully I can get lucky and get them on the show. Again, like Greg Mathis, you know, I'm still trying to see how can I reach him to get him on the show, you know. And, of course, we're going to have Judge Joe Brown back on the show. You know, yeah, so, other than that, though, regardless of how y'all feel about this show, another show that I do, I'm going to keep doing what I do, and I expect y'all to do the same thing. The people who I'm talking to, y'all do YouTube video stuff, I expect y'all to do the same thing, because y'all not going to stop me, and I'm not going to try to stop y'all. And I sure ain't fucking finna disrespect none of y'all. If I hear some of your show I don't like, I just leave. All right, I'm not going to be a dick about it. All right? All right. But other than that, man, y'all take care of yourself and each other, man. Thank y'all for coming, man. I'll probably come back later on tonight. All right. Predator King said, Chris Thorns, proud of you, man. Keep up the good work. Hey, thanks, bro. Thank you. Yeah. Somebody was asking about the PayPal earlier. It's in the description box. Go to the description box, and if you want to donate, you know, the donate tab is in the description box. That's Monique. Hey, Monique, you changed your name to Monique Williams. All right, cool. Said thanks for the man, because I know how you speak. Thanks for the man in you. I appreciate that. Yeah, man. Y'all take care of yourself, man. Enjoy the rest of y'all day. Like I said, I'll probably come back this evening with another show. Talk to y'all about some about a video I've been holding on to, and I finally got a chance to look at it, and it's kind of disturbing that somebody would do this that's supposed to be in law enforcement. But then again, though, it's not surprising, because, you know, we pretty much see this shit pretty much all day or whatnot. Thank you, Fire God. It's okay. I say if you're saying the children are coming up missing after getting placed, I understand, but still contact local police. Yeah. Yep. All right, y'all. Y'all take care of yourself. Peace out.